All right. Good morning, y'all. How we doing? Awesome. Okay, so give it up for Gabe on the lyrics and slides today. Woo! Yes. And from this side of the stage, working our way over, give it up for my husband Peter on guitar. You're more than just my husband, but I do like saying it. My husband, my husband. And then on the other side of the stage, we have Matt on saxophone. Welcome back, Matt. Give it up. It's been a while. We haven't seen Matt for some time, so we're glad to have you here. And I'm Gianna. I'm just singing and playing some acoustic guitar. We're sitting, but don't you feel the pressure to stay sitting. You can totally stand. All the songs are familiar, but we are bringing back a couple of songs we haven't done in a while, so more on that later. This is a song that we do quite a lot because I love it. It's called Into the Mystery. It's hard to see it, still believe it. You have always lived deep inside my heart. I need to know you, but swim the unknown seas and follow me into the mystery. From my shallow grave, great to find, strength to crawl, strength to climb, up to the surface, tie my hands, sorrow had a purpose, it's time to stand, 'cause I just wanna be loved by you, and I resist the need you say. Whatever you do, I will be there. Oh, I will follow you into the mystery. Love is not a cage, love is not a path. Love's a steady hand waiting for the storm to pass. You love me then when you needed me. Will you still when it's not so easy? 'Cause I just wanna be loved by you, and I resist the need you say it. Whatever you do, I will be there. Oh, I will follow you anywhere we are. All God's children we are. Flesh and blood we are. Who'd fall like ash we are. Not alone we are. Love is broken we are. Vicarious dreams we are. Tumbling in space out of control. Into the mystery. Cause I just wanna be loved by you, and I resist the need you say. Whatever you do, I will be there. Oh, I will follow you into the mystery, into the mystery. Yes, Cool. Thank you. Fun fact, the next two songs are by the same person. The third song is one that is fairly new, thanks to Jarrett. This one that we're about to do is by the same person, but we haven't done it in literal years. Jarrett brought this song as well, but Peter was like, what's that one song? And I knew what he was talking about, but I couldn't think of any of the words. I couldn't think of the name of the person. I couldn't think of any melodies. I just knew it was in the key of E. So I texted Jared about it. I was like, hey, do you remember that guy who was like maybe redheaded or something? I'm not sure. And it was kind of Irish sounding. And then thankfully the Lord was like, it's called Son of God. And then he was like, oh, it's by Chris Nimzimzimza. Yeah. So, yeah, that name. So this is Son of God, and it's really great, and we hope you enjoy it. Sweet. Also, kind of also by accident, like 4 out of 5 of the songs are in E, so it just seamlessly melts one into the other. This song is also in E. I've been working on the ways that I lose my head some days. I just this ladder's missing rungs, 'cause I can't find a way to climb stepping out into the water. Not sure if you'll sink or stand. I think fear's pretty normal. If you've only ever walked on land, just to leap into the unknown is to walk by faith on sight. We all get scared, but we don't. Maybe that's alright. Feels like a free fall sometimes. I guess I still freak out sometimes. Faith is like a free fall sometimes. I guess I still get scared sometimes. Maybe that's alright. Faith is like a free fall sometimes. I guess I still freak out sometimes. Faith is like a free fall sometimes. I guess I still get scared sometimes. Maybe that's alright. Maybe that's alright. Maybe that's alright. Maybe that's
Good morning, everybody. How's it going? That's not good enough. How are you? Don't you hate it when people do that, like at conferences? I can do it, though, because I make fun of the fact that I did it, but I still get to do it. It's a good move. How are y'all today? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Thumbs sideways? Cool. Okay. I'm thumbs up. I had a great week. For those of you who aren't social media friends with me, I was on a cruise with my wife and kid. So that was really cool. Raise your hand if you're a cruise person. Raise your hand if you're not a cruise person. I see those hands. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know. I haven't decided. Having an 8-year-old is something. I can say that because he's not here today, and I can make fun of him. But yeah, we had a great time. Also, if we're not social media friends, find me on social media. It's super helpful for introverts to learn names. Not that I don't know everyone's name here, but you know, if we're social media friends, it like clicks in even more. Speaking of which, hi, I'm Jarrett. How's it going? Didn't introduce myself yet. Okay, I need your help. Right now is normally the time when I would come up and do like announcements. And one of the main announcements is that we have brunch every month, the last Sunday, okay? But this month, the last Sunday is devoted to something else. Does anybody know what that is? Okay, yep, which we are super stoked about. So I'm going to be vulnerable here for a second, okay? We could move brunch a week earlier, but I'll be sad if no one shows up. So, vulnerability. Should we move brunch a week earlier? Would you go? Give me a shout, give me a clap. I think that's enough claps. Okay, so we're gonna move brunch to the fourth Sunday, because there's 5 this month, right? Yeah, so the fourth Sunday we'll do brunch, so 2 weeks from today. And I don't know where we're going yet, we'll figure that part out, but please come hang out, it'll be fun. I don't really have any other announcements, but it is my privilege to give this microphone over to someone else for a second to talk a little bit about Pride. And I hope you will give Hope a big round of applause. Come on, Hope. I couldn't, no, dad joke.
Good morning, everyone. So as we all should know by this point, Pride is the last weekend in June, the 28th and 29th, and we're trying to have a big presence there. But the only way we can do that is if y'all sign up. So what I need is everyone to choose, even if it's like an hour. It's gonna be hot out there, we're all gonna be tired, but we also all wanna go have fun. So let's not make anyone stand at the booth the whole weekend. You know what I mean? Sign up on Div Church, or you can see me or Rachel. We're going to be coordinating the schedule for the whole weekend. We've got the parade on Saturday and the booth on Sunday. So look at your schedules, figure out when you can slot in. We'll be really appreciative. One other thing that I wanted to share, part of each week, those of us planning are asked to share what Pride means to us. I think for me, Pride is something that's just always been really natural, and I don't take that for granted. I've come to realize as I've grown up that, it's not everyone's default to want to understand and want to get to know, and I take that really seriously now that I'm a mom. I have 2 little boys, Seamus and August, who are in Sunday school with Pastor Allison right now, and Karen and Mac and Maddie, and my dream for them, whether they choose, a pathway in that community or they'll inevitably have friends in this community, I want them to be an understanding and loving and safe place. I want my home to be a loving and understanding and safe place. And so for me, it's pretty heavy responsibility. But the good news is that there's no other community that I've ever been part of that's more joyful. And so I'm just so excited to live that out with you guys at the end of this month, and happy Pride.
Thank you. Can I do this with 2 microphones? It'll cause some kind of feedback loop that will inevitably summon Sauron or something, so we won't. Good morning. Our passage for today is Matthew chapter 5. Does anyone know what is in Matthew chapter 5? It's very famous. The Beatitudes. It's like the most famous section of Jesus' teaching, I think, other than when he's like, you should love God and love people. People like to say that, especially people who don't love God or love people very much. I'm going to read you an excerpt from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. So called because the marketing team could not think of a better name. They were like, he's on a mountain giving a sermon. Sermon on the Mount. Boom. Okay, this is what it says. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountain and sat down. His disciples came to him. He began to teach them, and he said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is not good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Okay, imagine that you are outside of Galilee. You are on a windswept mountainside. There's a little fishing town called Capernaum near. That's where most people came from. And there's like seagulls everywhere, probably trying to steal your lunch. There's grass and wildflowers. There's rocks. There's wind. You have a clear view of the Sea of Galilee glistening below, okay? And there's a rabbi. You should know that my notes, there's a typo. It says there's a rabbit. There's a rabbit who appears to be about 30, surrounded by a group of young men, his disciples, who has just sat down to begin his teaching, and you are a big fan. So you got there like way early, and you are as close to the action as possible, and there's like hundreds of people behind you, and everyone's very excited because this is the day Jesus is going to tell everyone the heart of the message. He's going to be like, here's my TED Talk. This is what I stand for. And Jesus starts by saying, blessed are those. Now, in Jesus' day, to say blessed are those means like pay attention. These are the people you need to be like. And if you say woe to those people, that means you definitely don't want to be like those people or even associated with them. For example, blessed are those who carry dog poop bags with them and pick up the piles that their beloved friends leave behind. Amen. Woe to those who let their dogs poop on the sidewalk and leave it there. Okay? So Jesus said, blessed are those, and everyone already knows what's going to come next. The culture, the media, the propaganda of the day, even the religious leaders, the religious institutions, they all operate by the normal rules of the game. Okay? This is what people would expect to hear, because it was clearly how the world around them operates. Blessed are those who are rich and powerful, and those who do everything they can to become rich and powerful. Blessed are the tough, the hard, the unbending, the immovable. Blessed are those who think only of themselves and their own happiness. Blessed are the independent, the self-sufficient, the go-getters who don't need help from anybody. Blessed are the ones who work themselves to death. Blessed are those who pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and don't accept excuses. Blessed are the popular. Blessed are those who attack first and ask questions later. That has no bearing on our society today at all. Jesus defines success and well-being in a profoundly different way. Who is actually blessed? What kind of people should we be identified with? And Jesus says, the poor and those who stand in solidarity with them, the ones who mourn and are in the middle of grief and loss, the nonviolent people, the gentle people, the ones who work for common good and are never satisfied with the status quo or the way it's always been. The merciful, the empathetic, the compassionate, the ones who are open and sincere and have good motives, even if they mess up sometimes. The ones who work for peace and reconciliation. And the ones who stand for justice and refuse to back down or shut up even when they're being mocked or misrepresented or threatened or harmed. Mind you, Jesus says all of this in like 2 minutes and just completely flips the entire social pyramid upside down because Jesus is advocating for an identity characterized by sensitivity and solidarity and nonviolence. Jesus is celebrating the people who long for justice and embody compassion and manifest integrity. Jesus said, what our world needs is not another warrior or corporate executive or politician or even another religious leader, but regular people who are brave enough to work for peace. And I feel like we're like, yes, that's so nice. That's so nice. No, this is part of why Jesus gets murdered, okay? Spoiler alert. I don't know if you knew that happened. Anyone present for this sermon would have felt some tension in the air, okay? Because Jesus is becoming well known, but it's not like there's TV and anyone can just tune into the message for the podcast anytime they want and be like, here's what Jesus stands for. No, they go to find out. So there's plenty of conservative, conventional, regular, respectable people who have regular, respectable lives in the audience who did not want to mess with tradition. They heard about Jesus healing, and they came to get some of that, but they weren't necessarily there to be told that they needed to calm down. Okay? They are worried that Jesus is too different too non-compliant. He is messing with a good thing. We have a good thing going on, okay? The Romans do, we don't like them, but like also they let us practice our religion. I have a nice job. We're stable. Like, let's not rock the boat, okay? And Jesus is like, let's tip it upside down. Other people would have had a much different background, okay? There's people in this audience who would have hated tradition and who wanted to toss all the religion out with the bathwater. They would have gladly bent the rules, any rules. But they were worried that Jesus wasn't different or defiant enough, okay? And Jesus says, you're both wrong. You're both wrong. Neither of you are on the road to being actually blessed. Jesus says later in this passage, do not think that I have come to abolish the law and the prophets. You can imagine like the conservative people feeling very relieved, right? Like, oh, thank goodness. He's not taking our 16 fundamental truths from us. Because that's what they're afraid of, right? But then he adds, I have not come to abolish the law, I've come to fulfill the law. What is that? What does that even mean? Okay? Then when he says, unless your righteousness, unless how good you are exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You can imagine the ones who want to burn it down looking alarmed. Nobody can possibly follow the rules better than the people who like entire life was dedicated to following the rules. How can we also follow rules we don't even agree with? Jesus is proposing a third way that neither the traditionalist nor the anarchist had ever considered before. Jesus was saying true life does not come through blind adherence to doctrine and tradition, and it also does not come from burning everything down. True blessedness, true life comes when we figure out how to fulfill the highest intent of tradition, even if doing so means breaking with the details of tradition in the process. I feel like that was a ridiculous sentence. So let's put this in normal words, okay? A lot of churches have not a lot of room for new interpretations, new imaginings of God, new ways of being together in faith, right? They say, like, we have it, whatever it is. We have it, and changing it is a sin. We have the correct interpretation of Jesus and the entire Bible, obviously. And if you disagree, you are on a slippery slope to hell. I think this reminds me of a meme. It's my favorite meme of all time. It's like one of those diagrams of like a March Madness bracket, but it's like this big, and it's backwards, okay? So instead of getting smaller, it's getting bigger. And Jesus is over here, and then there's all the denominations and interpretations of Christianity throughout all the world, and then there's one little guy over here circling it and be like, this is where we came along and got it right. Jesus is so lucky to have us. It drives me crazy. They're starting from an incorrect philosophical platform, okay? When we think of tradition, what we imagine sometimes is that tradition is this building, like the Colosseum. The tradition is the Colosseum. It is worn down over time, and it is the task of the church to rebuild it exactly the way it was before. And I'm using the Colosseum on purpose because people got killed in there, and the church has not been very nice in its history. If you don't believe me, just don't read. It'll make you sad. You have to rebuild this thing. You have to rebuild this house. You have to rebuild this place where we made people fight. Like, it has to look like it did before. And you have to use the same materials that you did before, and it has to be shiny like it was before, and that is what tradition is. You have to protect it. That is not what tradition is. Tradition is a road, okay? It began long ago. It continues to the present. And Jesus is saying the road is not finished yet. To extend the road into the future, to fulfill its potential, we have to look back and ascertain what was the general direction of the road. Like, if the road is going this way, we're not suddenly going to be like, although I feel like that's what we've done a little bit. We're like, oh, Jesus was going towards love and inclusion. No. That's not what you're supposed to do. You have to look back and think, where was the tradition going? Where was it intended to go? And then, once we're informed by the past, we can look forward and step beyond where the current road ends and venture off the map into new territory and extend the road. And if we stop where it currently ends, just like brings the whole thing to a standstill. There's no more adventure, there's no more journey. And I don't think that faithfulness doesn't just allow us to extend the road and seek to fulfill its unexplored potential, it requires that we do so. Now, this makes people very antsy, at least in my experience in the churches that I grew up in and worked in. There's a lot of questions to follow. What does it mean to fulfill the tradition? Who decides what's fulfilling and what's not fulfilling? How are we going to keep people in line if you're just letting people wander off the end of the road all willy-nilly? How are we going to decide who is right and wrong and if the direction of the road is correct with all this extending of tradition? And Jesus answers this question with a series of examples. Jesus isn't like, suck it up. Jesus also isn't like, that's a stupid question. Jesus is like, let me tell you a story, which I think we need to do more of. It's actually one of the greatest parts that we get to be or experience during the Pride Parade and the booth that we have is we get to hear people's stories because that is more important. And Jesus starts these examples. He says, you have heard it said, but I say something else. Okay, you have heard it said, don't murder. Cool, I guess. Pretty self-explanatory. You don't need any expansion on that. Just don't murder. And Jesus says, nope, where that road ended is not good enough. You also, on top of not murdering people, you need to also dig out the anger that precedes the physical violence that leads to the murder. And beyond that, you need to deal with the verbal violence of name-calling and slander that precedes the physical violence that leads to the murder. And beyond that, you need to engage in preemptive reconciliation. In other words, if there's a breach in a relationship, we don't need to determine who is at fault. The intent of tradition is not to be right or to nitpick other people, it's to be in right relationship. So we have to deal with any cracks in a relationship proactively because being in a right relationship, not just avoiding murder, was the intent of tradition all along. That's what Jesus is saying. Jesus gives more examples. He talks about Roman soldiers, he talks about landowners, and these are examples that get tossed around a lot. And we say things like, just turn the other cheek. And I don't think we really understand how subversive they are, right? Because the people listening to Jesus lived under Roman occupation. They were used to getting shoved around. It was not uncommon for a Roman soldier to just like backhand anyone they wanted if they felt slightly offended by your existence or if you didn't get out of their way in time. It was the insulting, I am superior to you and I have the right to do violence to your body anytime I want. Get out of my way. And so when this happens, some people would beg for mercy, right? Some people would run away. Some people would be humiliated, which rewards the oppressor's violence. Other people would dream of retaliation and violence and murder, right? But this reduces them to the same level as their oppressors. And Jesus says, instead, stand tall and courageously turn the other cheek. And in doing that, you choose nonviolence and strength and courage and dignity, and you expose them for what they are, abusive cowards. Another problem they faced, rich landowners would often take their tenants to court. So if you hadn't paid your rent or your tribute on top of your rent, landowners could sue you for your personal belongings, including your clothing. So Jesus said, if someone takes you to court and sues you for your outer garments, just go ahead and strip naked and give them your underwear as well. Now, it doesn't come across that way when we read that scripture because it's like, if someone sues you for your outer garment, your cloak, give them your inner garment as well. This means if someone takes your skirt and your shirt, give them your undies. In court, in front of everyone, be naked. You will be naked, but your nakedness will expose their naked greed of the person oppressing you, and it will show their evil for what it is to the world. Another problem, a Roman soldier could just make anybody they wanted to carry their pack for a mile, like their military issue. I don't know. It was probably a backpack. Did they have backpacks back then? I don't know. They had strappy sandals. Those are cute. If the civilian refused, he would likely end up dead or in jail. So if a Roman soldier was like, hey, carry my stuff, and you were like, no, well, that's the end of you. So sorry. Most people would comply out of fear, but this, of course, just reinforces the oppressor's own sense of superiority and their own sense of humiliation, right? And Jesus says, volunteer to take their pack a second mile. Why? Because the first mile is forced on you, but the second mile you walk free. The first mile you are oppressed, but the second mile you transcend the oppression and you treat that person as a human being, demonstrating the very kindness that they have completely failed to practice. Y'all can come back up here. Brian McLaren, who is one of the OG progressive theologians, so OG it wasn't even called progressive theology back then. It was called emergent Christianity. He has this phrase that he says a lot, and it's called, we make the road by walking. And I just think that is so beautiful because tradition has gotten us this far. We have been on the road, right? But now we are at the end of what has been paved for us, and we have a choice. Are we going to stand at the end of the road in the wilderness forever, keeping our toes out of the dirt and just milling around in circles with all the other countless people that think that they're at the pinnacle of faith and Jesus is so lucky to have them? Or are we going to continue the journey? Are we going to make the road by walking? Jesus is very clear. If we want to be counted as true people of faith, we will not simply be able to float along and conform to the norms of our society, nor can we just conform to the norms of the religious institution. We have to choose a different definition of well-being, a different model of success, a new identity, and a new set of values. And all of this stuff is so old. Like, this has been in the Bible for like 2,000 years. And we struggle with it so much. Like, in the places that we've come from, we have all reached a point where we've said, we have been with you on this road, and I have to go further because you taught me to love people. You taught me to forgive. You taught me to celebrate. You taught me to be inclusive. You taught me to love God and to love people. You taught me that every number has a name, and every name has a story, and every story matters to God. And I'm saying it matters to God, and you're saying, no, they're not allowed in here. So I have to go. I have to go make a new road because this was the intent of tradition. And I think it's especially important that we're talking about this during Pride Month because we're going to have a panel discussion in 2 weeks on the intersection of faith and pride. Like, how do they intersect? Can they intersect? Because one of the pushbacks that we get, not that I care, but one of the pushbacks that we get from people who are outside of this community, right, is that you can't celebrate whatever this is, right? And I'm like, can't we? It's literally our theme for Pride is God celebrates you. And all the time people are like, but people are evil and people have sin. Okay, sure, yes. Take the log out of your own eye. Do you want me to tell you mine? I have a long list, okay? I was impatient with my children this morning. I said something I had to apologize for. When I went to bed last night, my thought was not, oh, I just love my family. It was not. And do you know what Jesus probably would have said to that? Maybe you should root out the name calling. And the thoughts that you are having about the tiny people that are irritating you before that leads to the physical violence of elitism. Like, there are plenty of things that we do that harm ourselves and harm each other, and we need God's redeeming presence for that. And there is no excuse for us to say things like, you're terrible. You're not. You were created good. Every human being was created good. And Jesus' third way of viewing the world and viewing people around us, even the Roman soldiers that were causing such abuse, was to expose the abuse and also treat them like humans. Jesus promises that it will cost us something to act like this. But he also promises we will discover so many rewards. If we embody the kind of unconventional blessedness that Jesus proposed, then we get to experience the true aliveness of God's kingdom and the warmth of God's comfort and the direct experience of God's presence. Like salt that brings out the best flavors in food, we should bring out the best in the community around us, in our society. Also, like salt, we have a preservative function. We oppose decay and corruption. Like light that penetrates and chases away darkness, we should radiate goodness and well-being to everyone around us. Simply by being who we are, by living in that blessedness, we will make a difference as long as we don't lose our saltiness or try to hide the light. We might be tempted, probably quite often, to let ourselves be tamed or toned down or shut up. But Jesus intends for our lives to overcome the blandness and the darkness of evil with the salt and the light of God's love. And if we live like that, everything we do points to God. And then people will say things like, when I see your life and how kind and loving you are, I might be able to believe that there's a kind and loving God out there too. We have 2 more songs. If you'd like to stand and sing with us, and then I will come back and give you a benediction.
All right. So I'm going to teach you the chorus melody, and then we're going to add words, because without the words, it's less intimidating, because it's just like, la, 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 la. Okay, so it goes like this, and we're just going to do a little repeating thing to make sure we're all on the same page. So it's like, la, 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 la. La, la, la. Just let your laws ring out. La, 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 la. La, la, la. I'm going to take out my left ear plug so I can hear your voices. La, 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 la. La, la, la. Every chorus this happens twice. La, 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 la. Then this part happens. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. And again. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. If you can, Gabe, can you go to the chorus here? So the words will be, as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. We're thirsty, God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. Y'all sound so good. It's crazy. One more time. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. Cool. Now we can all start from the verse here. There's a quiet place that gives me peace when I'm alone with you. There's a hiding place. Your spirit's always there when I'm confused. Yeah. Only you can purify. All this world won't ever satisfy my heart. It cries. Here we go. As As the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. Yes. I'm a stranger here, thirsty 'cause I know it's not my home. Like a desert here, need your living word for these dry bones. Jesus, fill us up again with your presence flowing deep within. New life begins as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. Little double chorus here. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. Quench our hearts and fill this space with heaven like a flood. Holy One, rain down on us with your consuming love. Quench our hearts and fill this space with heaven like a flood. Holy One, rain down on us with your consuming love. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need 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 you, Lord. Beautiful job, y'all. Sweet. And then this one is the last song. We've done the song a bunch of times in a different key, but since I found the key of E accidentally one Sunday, I love it and I want to keep it. So this is a song called You've Got It. That I would have it together by now, but I don't, and I can't figure it all out. I've tried and tried. Now I'm taking it day by day, don't need to play by play. Why worry when I can just trust? Now I'm taking it day by day, don't need to play by play. Why worry when I can just trust you? I don't need to worry about a thing. I put it in your hands, let go of my plans. You've got it. Every little thing will be alright. You've got the best for me. Trust you with everything. You've got it. I find it hard to tell you I need you, but I'm done with that. No more heavy burdens, I lift my hands up now. God help me now. I don't need to worry about a thing. I put it in your hands, let go of my plans. You've got it. Every little thing will be alright. You've got the best for me. Trust you with everything. You've got it. You've got it. You've got it. Now I'm taking it day by day, don't need to play by play. Why worry when I can just trust? Now I'm taking it day by day, don't need to play by play. Why worry when I can just trust you? I don't need to worry about a thing. I put it in your hands, let go of my plans. You've got it. Every little thing will be alright. You've got the best for me. Trust you with everything. You've got it. I don't need to worry about a thing. I put it in your hands. Let go of my plans. You've got it. Oh, every little thing will be alright. 'Cause you've got it. understand. Is there some master plan? 'Cause I'm just trying to understand it.
You can be seated. Thanks for being here. If you're new, definitely check out the Stuff Center, or if you haven't got a sticker in a while. Our new Pride stickers are not here yet, but they are being printed, okay? The shirts are in the back. We have lots of sizes, so if you are walking in the parade or you are volunteering in the booth, you must go get your shirt while we have all the sizes for you. And you can also get one if you just want one, because they're fabulous. To sign up for the parade, to sign up for the booth, which hopefully will be in one of these 3 blocks next to us. I put in a specific request to St. Pete Pride. They did not respond. But they didn't respond last year, and I just switched with another progressive church that also had a booth that was like 10 blocks down. And so I wrote a very lovely email informing Pride that they had to do no work to make this happen. We were just going to do it, and they let us do it. So hopefully, if you want to pray for like specific things, you can pray that we'll be close enough to set up with no problem. Where was I going with that? You can go online to diff.church, and that's where you sign up for Pride. Click on events. It will take you to the Google form to sign up. You can also donate if you would like to support what we're doing and help us keep doing it. You can write me a message. I'm the one that reads them. So if you write something, be nice. Okay? The other thing is Pastor Jordan is speaking next week on Father's Day. He's currently in the nursery, I think, being a dad to Arlo, who does not want to be put down. So the rule is, what's the rule? If y'all been here, you gotta be here. You skip me anytime, okay? You want to sleep in on a Sunday? Have at it. Go to Bedside Baptist, okay? We don't skip when people from our community come up and do fun things, okay? So please be here to support him on Father's Day. This is, I think, the 2nd sermon he's ever given, and the last one was fire. And now I shall leave you with my most favorite benediction we have ever had. I try to give it at least once a year, but since we're talking about the Beatitudes, it is an extension of that. We wrote like more Beatitudes, and this is what it says. Blessed are the agnostics, the atheists, the believe everything people. Blessed are the ones who doubt. Blessed are the children who can't sit still, and the adults who are stuck in patterns, in situations, and in trauma. Blessed are the ones that no one notices, and the ones who can't escape the judging eyes. Blessed are the quiet, thoughtful ones, and the ones who don't have time to think. Blessed are the queer ones, the straight ones, the searching for something that feels real ones. Blessed are the ones who have loved enough to know what loss feels like. Blessed are the ones who can't fall apart because they are keeping others together. Blessed are the ones who aren't over it yet. Blessed are you. Yes, you. Yes, me. Yes, our greasy, stinky, sometimes bloated, absolutely miraculous bodies. We are of heaven, and we are blessed. Go now in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord, remembering always that your life is a gift to us all, but most especially to God. Amen.